Okay, this is page 10. By the way, whatever I write, you need to write, okay? Yeah. Okay, we're getting into Unit 1. Unit 1 is short and sweet. I love Unit 1 because it's what you really probably already know. It's really coming straight from Algebra 1. It's what you need to be good at all future math classes. Your Unit 1 quiz you took yesterday, solving equations. Your Unit 1 test is next Thursday. I'm going to repeat that. Your Unit 1 test is Thursday. Raise your hand if you're going on the field trip for the movie on Friday of next week. Raise your hand. Okay, better yet, let me flip the question. Raise your hand if you are not going. Wesley, put your hand down. Raise your hand if you are not going. Okay. So it's kind of split right down the middle. So because I was anticipating to lose several people that day, the test is on Thursday. All right. Let's look at this. This worksheet is to cover adding and subtracting polynomials. Before we can do that, you need to remember what a polynomial is. A polynomial is an expression made from one or more terms that involve, and these are also vocab words, constants, variables, and exponents. A constant, I'm going to jump right into that one, is a term that contains only numbers. Look where I'm writing. A constant is a term that contains only numbers. So for instance, if you look at this example right here, this is a polynomial expression here. Which one is a constant? The 4. The 4 is your constant. So come right here where it says constant, and you're going to write that that's a 4. Vocab word term. Term means parts of an expression. Now watch as I write this. I'm going to copy this same polynomial right here, but I'm going to draw slash marks to separate the terms. So the polynomial is x cubed, I'm going to draw a slash, minus 5x squared slash plus 4. Terms are separated by plus and minus signs. Okay, so the sign goes with the term itself. So this term is x cubed, this term is negative 5x squared, and this term is positive 4. Coefficient is the number in front of a variable. Coefficient is the number in front of a variable. What's the coefficient of, say, x squared? The sign goes with it. So what's the coefficient of x squared? Negative 5. What's the coefficient of x cubed? There is an understood 1 right there. So it's 1. Now you need to be familiar with the phrase standard form. If I say that your polynomial needs to be written in standard form, it doesn't necessarily mean alphabetical order. I'm actually going to draw a slash through that because we're not going to be technical on the alphabet part of it. What really matters is it's the exponents. The highest exponent needs to go first. And then it's going to count down. By the way, if you have a highlighter, this is another very important vocab word. The highest exponent is always called the degree. Well, and that's actually the metaphor that I use. So if I was to say to you, what's the temperature outside? you're clearly going to tell me the highest temperature at that current time, right? You're not going to say, well, it was 28 this morning. That doesn't tell me what the weather is outside right now if it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You would tell me the degrees of the current weather. So degree, in terms of a polynomial, is the highest exponent. So what's the degree of this polynomial here? The highest exponent would be 3, which means it's a cubed polynomial. Look at this one. This polynomial right here, it says write it in standard form, and they want you to put it here. So you're going to go through and draw your slash marks in between your terms. Remember, the slashes go after the term before the sign, the plus or minus sign. So there's a slash here, here, and here, right? Now you should be able to see you've got how many terms total here? You've got 4 terms total. If I tell you to write it in standard form, y'all know that good old-fashioned cup game where you put a ball underneath one of the 3 cups and then you shuffle them, right? Okay, so this is like the good old-fashioned cup game. You're fixing to take these 4 terms and you're going to shuffle them. Take the signs with them, and you want it in standard form. So looking at it, which polynomial, which term should come first? The positive 5x to the 4th. I need to change colors. You can't see that. Come on now. Do I need to put the plus sign since it's moving to the front? No. You only put the sign if it's a negative when it's in the front, right? All right, so acting funny. 5x to the 4th would go in the front. What term should go next? So we're going to write plus 3x squared. Do I need to write the negative 1 next? No, next needs to be what? The 2x and then minus 1 at the end. Now, what degree is that polynomial that we just did? Yeah, very good. It's a degree 4, which is called quartic. The next section is to show you some vocab words, and these really come into play this semester and Algebra 2, which you have to take next year. There are vocab words associated with the degree of a polynomial and then the number of terms. Let's go to the number of terms because you've probably already heard this. A monomial, mono means 1, it means there's only 1 term. A binomial means there's 2 terms. A trinomial means there's 3 terms. Anything higher than that, we just say polynomial. We don't say, there's no fancy word for it. Now, based on the degree, y'all staying with me? I know I'm not up at the front, like to keep your attention. Based on the degree, you need to know these vocab words right here. If the degree is 0, it's called a constant. If the degree is 1, it's called linear. Degree 2 is called quadratic. Degree 3 is cubic. Degree 4 is called quartic, although sometimes we just say degree 4. Anything higher than that, you just say the number. There's no word for it. You really need to know these right here. Like, you need to know them. It would make your life easier. You also need to know that. Monomial and binomial. I typically, after that, I'll say polynomial. But you could call it a trinomial. You're going to see those come up a lot. All right, look at these practice questions right here. This is saying to name it based on the degree, then name it based on the number of terms. So if you look at this x has what? This x has what degree right here? What's understood to be here? Careful. I can see the x, that means there's a 1 there. So what is the name for the degree? It's linear. That means it's a line if you were to graph it. Now in terms of how many terms there are, how many are there? There's 2, so it's a binomial. Coming down here to this one is a small trick because they are not in standard form. It was to see if you just run with that first term. What is the degree of this polynomial? This right here is your degree. It's a 3, so it's called cubic. And then how many terms are there? So it's a trinomial. It's Friday the 13th, what do I expect? Alright, now, any questions on that part? Good? Y'all staying with me? Alright, let's get to the adding and subtracting part. To add and subtract polynomials, you're going to combine like terms. What do I mean by like terms? I mean that they have the same variable and same exponent. And I'm actually going to put an S here because sometimes they might have more than one variable, which in that case they have to all match. And then of course the same exponent. So let's do adding first. If you look at this, this is saying take this polynomial and add it with this polynomial, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you a technique that I don't think you're going to have to use a lot, but maybe your eyes play tricks on you and you combine the wrong terms. So here's a technique to try to help you. Come underneath each term and draw a line based on how many, what the exponent is. What's the exponent here? The exponent is a 2. So I'm going to draw 2 lines. This is really going to drive me nuts. What's the exponent here? A 1. I'm going to draw 1 line. Is there a variable here at all? No. And I'm going to leave it alone. What's the exponent here? I'm going to draw 3 lines. What about here? And then none. If you do that technique, when you have like a really big, long problem, if you'll do that technique, you can see exactly what is fixing to condense. And you also can see which term needs to come to the front. So if you come right here, which term should come to the front? The 2y cubed. And it's positive, right? So 2y cubed goes to the front. So I've taken care of my 3 line terms. Do I have the like term to combine with the 5y squared? No. No, so I'm going to put it right after it. I can combine my like terms with the power of 1. Look at the sign next to it. So 7y minus 6y would be plus y. And then now the ones that have no lines at all are your constants. So negative 2 plus 4 is plus 2. Okay, you try number 2. It's the same type of question, but instead of laying it out like this with a plus sign, they're telling you to find the sum, and that means add. Sum means add. You're adding, you're good. This is just there in case it's a word I need to fill in. You're adding 3a squared plus 5a to negative 14a squared minus 5a plus 14. you add it, I want you to get it in standard form. Okay, you have like terms with the a squared, so 3 minus 14 is negative 11. Yeah, negative 11 a squared. What happens with the 5a? This one's positive, this one's negative, so they end up canceling out. And then there's no like term for the 14, so it tags along for the right. Okay, so that's adding. Let's go to subtracting. Colt, stay with me. Don't go to sleep. When you're subtracting, good news is you're just adding, right? But if it's written like this, you do have an understood what right here? There's an understood negative 1 that is going to multiply to everything after it, and it's going to change all the signs. And once you take care of that, then it's an adding problem. So this stuff in the front is just going to come down. We got 6a to the 5th minus x cubed plus x. This becomes minus 7x to the 5th minus 2x cubed plus 3x. And then now, like I said, it's a matter of combining like terms, which is just going back to the adding. So everyone try it. Try it before I put the answer on the board. This is another one of those where it's just a brief practice for you to see if you're doing it right without having to worry about getting like a bad grade. Did you get negative x to the 5th minus 3x cubed plus 4x? If you didn't get that, let me know. All right, y'all try the next one. Come on. Okay, check your work. Did you get negative 2w cubed plus 8w minus 2? Okay. Go to the back. Find number 2. Just kidding. Just kidding. There's nothing on the back. Yeah? Go to the back. I want you to write this. What if ... Meaning I need to show you a question that was not on these notes, but it's going to come up in your practice assignment. What if, now here's the question, what if I said subtract 4x plus 1 from 6x minus 7? What if that was your question? Now, if it said add 4x plus 1 to 6x minus 7, you would just add them, right? Combine like terms. But it says subtract and it says from. This is the problem. This is the problem. This means, watch out. Y'all ever had a GPS and you go in and you miss a turn and she's like, watch out. Or, no, I'm sorry, you're driving down the road and she goes, watch out, object on the road ahead, or police reported ahead. Right? Watch out when it says subtract something from something. Let's always bring it back down to, when you're trying to understand math, and I did this when I went through college, when I was getting my master's in math, always bring it back down to something very simple and basic that you can understand without thinking. If I told you subtract 9 from 12, you tell me the answer is louder and prouder. It's 3. You see the difference? If I said subtract 9, what if I said take 9 from 12? Does that help you now see it better? That'd be 3. Now, if I said 9 minus 12, you'd be right, it's negative 3. There's a difference here, and that's why we're doing this. This is going to come up on your Delta math. Not a lot, but every now and then. So, let's take some notes. If this is what it says, we're going to make a note. Watch out. Meaning, you have to reverse the order in the way the question was written. It's not actually 4x plus 1 minus 6x minus 7. Instead, it's 6x minus 7. You do need to group them in parentheses, and now you're fixing to see why. Minus parentheses 4x plus 1. You with me? Everybody with me? Mm-hmm. Here's why the parentheses matter, because what again is right here? There's an understood negative 1 there that the problem doesn't remind you of the way that it's written. So you would have to distribute that. So 6x minus 7 minus 4x minus 1, and then we would come to the answer. So you have this on here because it's going to come up in your digital practice. Your digital practice is going to be on Delta Math. And every now and then, that's going to pop up. You need to be careful. You're switching the order. 2 things to be careful. Switch the order, write the parentheses, or you're going to get it wrong, okay? Now, I want everyone to stand up. Stand up. Stand up and walk around. You have 60 seconds.